Tracking all the latest on the vaccine race, and in a bleak year, the past few weeks have brought some good news too. From biochemical firms showing more than 90% efficacy in their vaccines to countries ordering doses and getting ready for distribution. So let's tell you about the top vaccine frontrunners that could finally put an end to the coronavirus pandemic. First up is Oxford University's AstraZeneca with efficacy of 62 to 90%. Of the top candidates, AstraZeneca is currently the cheapest to produce and is being sold at $4. It can be stored at a standard fridge temperature. Clinical trials were enrolled over 24,000 participants from across the UK, Brazil and South Africa. Further trials will include 60,000 participants from the United States, Kenya, Japan and India. Second is Massachusetts-based company Moderna, who has claimed 95% efficacy, will be estimatedly sold at $33 per dose. For its phase 3 test, Moderna recruited 30,000 volunteers across the United States. Now, the Moderna vaccine not only signals a potential return to normal life, but a medical breakthrough as well. The company is aiming to produce 50 million doses by the end of the year. Third is Pfizer and BioNTech's vaccine, also with 95% efficacy, which will be sold at $20 per dose. Countries are showing worry over Moderna and Pfizer's vaccine, as both are hard to store and transport. Moderna's vaccine needs to be at minus 20 degrees Celsius temperature for proving its potential, and Pfizer's vaccine need to be stored and transferred at minus 70 degrees Celsius. Now, fourth is the Russian-based Gamaleya's Sputnik V. With 92% efficacy, the vaccine's one dose will cost $10. In August, the Russian government approved usage of this vaccine, claiming it to be the first registered vaccine against COVID-19. This was despite only undergoing a first phase trial of 38 people and without public data to even back it up. Brazil, India, Egypt and Mexico have already ordered Sputnik V till date. And fifth is China's CanSino Biologics, which was one of the world's first vaccine candidates and has since proved to be controversial. The vaccine is still in its third stage trial, and the company has not revealed any data about its efficacy. There have been reports that the per dose of CanSino vaccine will cost about $30. CanSino has been awarded China's first COVID-19 vaccine patent. Now, positive clinical trial results from the vaccine candidates mean that while the pandemic is far from over, it's now at least possible to see a path back to relative normalcy. Let's quickly get in a sense of perspective as far as the vaccines are concerned, and for that I'm joined in by a guest who's also a virologist, Michal Linyal, who's joining us live from Jerusalem for more details. Thank you, Michal, for joining us. I hope I've pronounced your name correctly.
Perfectly.
All right, Professor, I'd like to begin by asking you about the vaccine race, which is, of course, heating up. What are the challenges ahead in terms of global distribution? Do you think that poor countries could be left behind?
Okay, you are touching an extremely important topic. I mean, this is one issue to produce excellent vaccine, and it's a completely different issue and completely different challenges to get the vaccine really do what it's supposed to do, which is protect our population and the humanity. So you summarized very nicely the list of maybe 4, 5, 6 companies that are really reached the front line in terms of production. However, the challenges are, I want to make sure that first of all, and I think it's very important to share with the audience and the crowd, that there will be a huge difference and huge difficulty to transfer and to convince the public that the vaccine is safe enough so that a majority of the population will indeed get the vaccine. The real problem is not poor countries left behind. It's even rich countries left behind because people on one hand thinks that Corona is over, and on the other hand, there will be maybe some kind of fear and like information that is not conveyed in the right way, so that only a small part of the population will be vaccinated. If this is the case, we have no chance to overcome the pandemic. So it's really an issue of organization, logistics, explanation, communication with the public, and it's as important as producing good vaccine.
Professor, we are going to be talking about that skepticism that is also surrounding those vaccines at the moment. But having said that, out of the top vaccine candidates, be it the Oxford vaccine or AstraZeneca or even the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, which vaccine candidate seems most promising to you?
So I must say that the two that you mentioned, the Pfizer and the Moderna, that are completely new in terms of the idea of producing vaccine, seems to be extremely good in terms of side effect, efficacy, and also quite important is the fact that those are also tested against different ethnic group and different age group, which is also very important. I would also add that if in a case that the virus will change in terms of its material, those technology can adapt it in no time, which is completely different from adaptation of other technologies.
Right,
so the technology has an advantage. Yeah.
Okay, the technology has an advantage, fair enough. Professor, the European Medicines Agency has also warned of risks of COVID-19 vaccine race. It has said that its longer procedure to approve vaccines was more appropriate as it was based on more evidence and required more checks than the emergency procedure that has been now chosen by, say, countries like Britain or even Russia. What's your take? Right, we seem to be having some technical glitches over there, and we will try to reconnect with Professor for more details on the vaccine race. But this is the latest that we are bringing to you. A host of vaccine candidates are part of the race now. The frontrunners, of course, being Oxford University's AstraZeneca, Massachusetts-based company Moderna, Pfizer and BioNTech's vaccine being the third in the race. Of course, there's also the Russian-based globalised Sputnik V. Then there's China's CanSino Biologics, and that's why we had virologist Professor Michael Linnell, who was sharing all that information with us so that when the vaccines finally arrive to your country, which vaccine should you be opting for? We have Professor back with us. Professor, thank you for returning. Do let us know what's your take when it comes to what, European Medicine Agency and bodies have to say when it comes to rushed trials and these rushed approvals with regards to the vaccines.
Yeah, so just to make sure that when we say rush, remember that as of now, 10,000 of people were vaccinated. So the scale of seeing hundreds and thousands of people vaccinated means that the scale is really extremely good. The only missing point is the time. We do not know what will happen, let's say, in 6 months from now, in terms of whether we need another vaccination and so on. But in terms of safety and in terms of short-term vaccination, I think we are all in a very good state. So we feel very secure. There is no rush here. The rush is that we don't know yet what will be the outcome in, let's say, 6 months or 1 year from now, whether the vaccination will stay for 15 years, for 5 years, for 1 year, or for 5 months.
Fair enough, the long-term outcome. Right, fair enough. Professor, many have inhibitions about getting vaccinated. Taking the fast-track approvals into consideration, should people be skeptical of the vaccine just yet?
I don't know. I think I am staying online to get, if possible, the first vaccine that will come to Israel. I'll be standing online to be the first one, if possible. So I think by now I'm reading the literature. I'm, of course, very much concerned about, kind of not going through all the procedure, but at least 2 or 3 of the company that you mentioned before went through a very careful evaluation of the throughout, and they were completely transparent throughout the process. So I feel very secure in sense that, again, as I said, we might find ourselves that in 6 months we need another vaccination. That will be unfortunate, but I don't think we are, taking a risk in terms of our personal risk, in terms of vaccination that might cause side effects that we are not expecting and so on. I think the list of side effects, which is about 5 to 7% of the people, it's quite normal to any other vaccine. And in terms of the number and the quality of antibody that are produced are extremely good. So I feel very secure about those types of vaccines.
Well said, Professor. Well said, Professor. And may you be the first one to be vaccinated in Israel. Thank you so much for joining our broadcast.